Your next task is to create a lesson on Moodle using the lesson tool that takes a differentiated approach to learning. And by differentiated, we just mean that there's going to be a couple different paths going on, so not every single student necessarily sees the same thing. So you might use one path to do more of an extending activity, and you might use another path to do some sort of refining or remediation or anything like that. So this actually is an example of it for this lesson with all of the tasks for your project. If you think back to the first page, which is what I'm showing right now, you had the opportunity to choose which of the levels you felt you were at. So in this case, if you're looking at this video, you chose the emerging category to say that you've used Moodle before and you're ready for some of the more in-depth things that Moodle can do for your classroom. So what we're going to just walk you through is how to set this up, and I'm going to show a course or this lesson that's set up right now but not completely finished, and this will hopefully help you get started on your differentiated lesson. Right now I'm in preview mode, and just to go back into the lesson to make changes to it, I'm just going to make sure I hit edit. Okay. When you go in edit mode for your lesson in Moodle, what you'll basically do is have a list of all the different pages that you have set up there. In this case, I'm not done yet. So for example, if I wanted to make a new page, I could choose to make it in between two pages by just clicking whichever one I want it to come after, or I could just go down to the very bottom and keep going from there. I chose to do a specific organization where this is my main page. Alright, here's one of my 3 project task lists. Alright, and then it goes into all the tasks individually. Then I have my other 2 levels that I don't have tasks in here yet for. Alright, so just to walk you through how to add a page to your lesson is you're just basically going to go over wherever you want to add a page. In this case, I'll just do it for beginner, and I'm going to say, alright, I'm going to add a new page, and you have a couple choices. Most of the time you're either going to do a content page or a question page. Alright, so I'm just going to say add a content page. Alright, I need to give a page a title, so I just say this is my beginner task 1. Alright, I don't have to add page contents right away. Eventually I will, but I'll leave it blank for right now since it's not required. It doesn't have that little mark there saying I have to do it. And then for the description, I've been consistently doing where if I wanted to, I could go back. So I'm just going to say I want to go back, and I have to have at least one button, and I'm just going to say generically that it's going to go to whatever the previous page is. Alright, I can worry about this later on. Okay. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just setting up my pages, and I would recommend doing this where you have your pages set up in advance, and then if you want to do any sort of linking back to specific pages, what you can then do is say, alright, for this beginner task, for example, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go back. I know that I want to link to specific pages. So if I go into my buttons, I do want a back button that's going to the previous page, but I can also add another button that I might say is going to, for example, the next page, which is what I have set up for these. I could also decide that, alright, I want it to go to, for some reason I would want to go back to emerging project tasks or any other page that I have set up where I have a newbie task 5. Okay, so you could choose any page that you already have set up, which is the reason why you would want to have your pages set up first and then worry about the linking afterwards. Okay, if you do this correctly, I'll just cancel this for right now to keep everything the way I had it before. But if you do this correctly, what you can then do is go into preview mode, and then you can try out your lesson and say, alright, for example, for my newbie, I know that, alright, if I click this button, it should take me to my newbie tasks, which I have here. Then I can choose either to go back, or I can say, alright, I'm going to the next task. Alright, and I can keep clicking through the lesson to make sure everything's showing up the way I want it. If something doesn't link up the way you want it to, all you have to do is go back into edit mode, click on whatever gear for the page that you didn't think linked up correctly. So I can just pick one, and then I would just have to scroll down to these content buttons and say, alright, this isn't the right one, I need to choose one of the different pages. Okay, or I can keep adding. I have it limited that I can only have 4 buttons, but you can have more going on if you choose. So basically, hopefully this gives you an overview of something that you can use to help you differentiate a lesson. This most likely is going to be time consuming because you're basically planning out step by step for a couple different scenarios that might play out. But hopefully this will help you in your classroom and give the kids something that everybody feels is kind of geared towards either their interests or their level for whatever they're learning at the moment or anything like that.